Thank you, Ahuna. We are going to do that award ceremony as the very final segment of this closing ceremony, and that will be after our chief guest delivers his speech, and then Madam Ahuna, you'll join His Excellency in presenting those awards. Your Excellency, I want to acknowledge your presence here and to thank you most sincerely for finding the time to join us for this closing ceremony. But most importantly, I want to thank you on behalf of all of us, as the government of the Republic of Kenya, for bringing Youth Connect Africa to Nairobi. Your Excellency, you traveled to Kigali when our administration was barely a month in office. In fact, cabinet was not even in place yet. But you traveled to Kigali, you represented our country, and you brought Youth Connect back with you to Nairobi. We thank you. Vijana kukua kwetu sisi hapa leo ni kwa sababu ya huyu mpenzi wetu tunamuita nani? Rigi. Ebu nisikie tunamuita namna gani? Ebu tumpatie Rigi Juma makofi kwa kuleta Youth Connect Africa to Nairobi. Thank you, Your Excellency. And Your Excellency, after you brought this incredible event here, we have had an incredible 4 days. We opened this event on Friday with a greening moment. And if you go to the Kasarani Stadium today, that whole ecosystem, we have planted the seed of a sustainable botanical garden that is now going to be part of the Kasarani ecosystem, thanks to Youth Connect Africa Summit 6th edition. And I want to thank everybody who took the time, including Madam Ahuna here, my colleague ministers, Bangura, my brother minister from Sahrawi, my brother minister from South Sudan, who joined us for that special occasion to plant trees. From Saturday, the young people of Africa have gathered here in different sports in this iconic Kenyatta International Convention Center. And we have had conversation after conversation. Your Excellency, I have sat in several of those conversations, and I have heard the youth of Africa imagine. They have imagined an Africa where they have a central role to play. An Africa that respects the mantra of for youth, by youth, of youth, where the young people have a central role to play in everything that concerns them. I have listened to the youth of Africa imagine a borderless continent, a continent that allows free movement of people, of goods, of services, of ideas, where you can be in Turkana and trade with someone in Timbuktu. You can be in Port Elizabeth and do trade with someone in Casablanca. You can imagine an idea in Mauritania and see that idea in action in Central African Republic. That is the kind of Africa these great young people have imagined. These youth have also imagined an Africa driven by innovation. An Africa where they can innovate, they can ideate, but they can transition their innovation and their ideas to entrepreneurship. And we witnessed here, Your Excellency, examples of innovations of young people. We saw a young Kenyan who has innovated around transforming plastic waste into green cooking gas. Zach is right here with us with his innovation. We have seen Zach here is a young man from Kiambu County here in Kenya. We have seen a young man from Mali who has innovated around drone technology. And he was able to demonstrate here how this African-built drone can be flown to offer solutions to challenges facing this continent. Essentially, Your Excellency, we have seen young people who believe in the mantra of African solutions to African problems. And they have those problems in the palm of their hand. All they are asking for, give us the space to deploy these innovations to transform Africa. We have also witnessed here youth who are ready to work. And they are saying they are not limiting themselves to white-collar jobs. Some will become doctors, some will become lawyers, some will become accountants and teachers, but they are also saying they are ready to hustle, Kenyan-style hustle. They are ready to hustle in the creative industry, deploying their talents in music, in theater, in film, in fashion, in pageantry, to build sustainable livelihoods. They are also ready to deploy their talents in sports, in culture, to support sustainable livelihoods. And so I want to assure you, Your Excellency, we did not come here to idle. We did not come here to gallivant. We did not come here just to roam around. We came here to imagine a new Africa, an African Renaissance. And I can tell you, Your Excellency, as we close this afternoon, Africa is in a better place because of this incredible youth of our continent. I want to assure you, Your Excellency, that at the end of this summit, we know exactly what next. We know exactly what next. And we have also committed that this must not be a talk shop. This must not be a talk shop where we just come and talk and then read communiques and then wait for the next party. We want to see action. And so among the things we have agreed on is that the innovations that have emerged out of this gathering will be progressed to businesses and entrepreneurship to offer jobs and opportunities for youth across this continent. We have also committed, Your Excellency, that we'll follow up firmly without any equivocation or ambiguity or circumlocution of any nature on the commitments made by African presidents on visa-less travel and visa-less access. And we want to start seeing Africa indeed becoming open to the youth of this continent to move and to do business and to interact. We have also decided that on the big agenda today of climate change, the youth of Africa will take the lead through the Million Youth Green Army on Climate Adaptation. And this project, which has been initiated here in Kenya between the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, working with the Global Center on Adaptation, the University of Nairobi, and the Dutch University of Groningen, is now ready to go Pan-African, and will be spreading it across the whole continent of Africa. And finally, Your Excellency, we have decided that because the creative economy, creative industries hold so much promise of offering dignified work opportunities for the youth of Africa, we're going to invest heavily in deploying the creative industries as a formal, respectable economic engagement. And we have agreed as Kenya, we have discussed with AUDA NEPAD, and colleagues with whom I have held bilateral meetings, one-on-one, that Kenya's Talanta Hela initiative is now becoming Talanta Hela Africa. We are taking it continent-wide so that we can mobilize resources around identifying, nurturing, and monetizing talents of the youth of Africa. African youth, we believe in you. Don't be daunted. Nelson Mandela encouraged us by saying, it always seems impossible until it is done. And we shall do it. Africa, oh yeah! Let me hear African youth. Africa, oh yeah! Africa, oh yeah! And now, it is my singular honor, privilege, to welcome a gentleman that those of us who live in this country called Kenya love to the high heavens. We love this guy called Rigiji. But Mahuna, you don't need to struggle with Rigathi Gachagua if it's giving you difficulty. Rigiji is good enough. Rigiji is a darling of the youth of Kenya. He's in sync with the spirit, the aspirations, and the dreams of the youth of Kenya. And Rigiji is the youth of Kenya's baptism of this man. The man we call the man of truth. Allow me, good people, to invite His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Rigiji. Lakini Rigiji utakuja pole pole, kwa sababu kuna vijana wamesema wanakusindikiza stage. Where are the escorts? Balozi, nisaidie hii kipindi kwa sababu vijana watamsindikiza His Excellency. Aya. Who is leading? DJ. Okay. Let's go.
That's right.